What untold stories shaped economic rights for workers? Imagine a time when workers had no legal protections and their rights were often ignored or suppressed. Many stories behind the scenes reveal how workers fought for fairness long before laws were in place. These stories help us understand how social and economic systems influence workers' rights today. Long before governments created labor laws, workers and peasants pushed back against unfair economic practices. During the Middle Ages in England, the Peasants Revolt of 1351 challenged feudal landowners. They demanded better wages and conditions and questioned social hierarchies. Leaders like John Ball argued that all people should be equal, inspiring future protests. These early efforts were rooted in traditional communal rights, opposing the enclosure movement that privatized common lands. This movement took away shared resources, hurting poor farmers and workers. Their resistance laid a foundation for future demands for economic justice by showing the importance of community and shared welfare. Immigrant and minority workers played a big role in shaping workers' rights, even though their stories are often overlooked. In the early 20th century, groups like the International Workers' Order combined union efforts with civil rights activism. These organizations fought against racial and ethnic discrimination while pushing for better wages and working conditions. During times of political repression, such as the Red Scare, many of these groups faced government crackdown. Their struggles reveal how economic rights are linked to broader social issues like racism, sexism, and political control. Their stories reminded us that fighting for fair work conditions often involves fighting for equality in society as a whole. Legal changes also played a part, but not always smoothly. In 1933, the United States passed the National Industrial Recovery Act, which gave workers the right to organize and bargain collectively. This law was a major step, but it was later declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. Still, it energized union efforts and led to the Wagner Act in 1935, which protected workers' rights more firmly. These laws came after complex negotiations between workers, bosses, and the government. However, enforcement was weak, and many workers still faced unsafe conditions and low pay. This shows that passing laws is only part of the fight. Making sure they are enforced is equally important. The history of labor also includes moments of violence and conflict. Workers often faced dangerous conditions, long hours, and low pay. When they tried to organize strikes, employers and authorities pushed back hard. Courts often issued injunctions to stop strikes or even criminalized labor activism. These episodes show how economic institutions protected business interests and maintained power imbalances. Workers had to fight through protests, strikes, and sometimes violence to claim their rights. These struggles highlight how economic systems are built to favor those in control, making collective action necessary for change. Looking at all these stories, we see that economic rights for workers were not simply handed out. They were fought for through collective efforts that challenged existing social and economic orders. Race, gender, and class played roles in who could participate in these fights and how rights were shaped. Recognizing these stories helps us understand ongoing inequalities and the need for fairer economic institutions today. It reminds us that workers' rights are part of a larger social struggle for justice and equality. These untold stories show how social systems and economic institutions are deeply connected, and how change often comes from the courage of those willing to stand up for their rights.